Hello everyone. How are you guys doing? Okay, audio is echoing. What the actual heck? Thanks, Switch. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone is doing awesome. Let's share our stream on other channels. So let's go. Where's Top Clack? Top Clack, Top Clack, Top Clack. What happened with the hair? I didn't think it was good. I didn't like it. Honestly, it was way too long. I just didn't think it was good. I was like, yeah, what the heck? So I donated it. I cut it down. It was like somewhere. Last time I measured it, it was like here or somewhere here. It was like 30 centimeters, 40 or something. It's pretty long. So I was like, I just didn't like how it turned out. So yeah, I cut it down. Then I got back to classic Gondo. That's it. Let's see, where is the Top Clack server then again, so that we can share our stream. Here we go. Self promo. Let's go. So Top Clack, here we go. Apiary, where's Apiary? Self promo. Here we are. Rant about long hair. There's nothing to rant about, dude. I just didn't think it was good enough for me. But I quite liked it, honestly. There's nothing to complain about it. If it was hot, I would, get it short and use the hair rubber thing. I can't remember the name. But I quite liked it. Having long hair. Polygon is following. Thank you so much, dude. But we need the newspaper. Yeah, man. Can I rant about anything else? Is there anything else I can rant about? I do have a newspaper. Or do I? Oh, I have something even better. I have this, which is the book that I'm reading right now. It's called The Samurai Way by Inazunitore. And it's pretty good. I love it. Chip shortage. Oh, fucking chip shortage. Don't get me fucking started on chip shortage. It sucks. Chip shortage sucks. I can't get microcontrollers any fucking where. I need my keyboards. I need my fucking keyboards. Where are my fucking keyboards? Fuck. There you go. However, now is a nice time to start it. Myself, and our most liked Tsark, we have worked together to develop a multi-microcontroller topology that you guys can copy and use in your own designs. That topology can be used with, as far as I'm aware, 16 different microcontrollers. Gen 3. No, it's even better, right? And I've documented the whole thing. I'm going to show you guys in a second, and we're going to use it now. I saw the placeholder document for the reset v2 is up to. Yeah, that's where I'll put the. So, I'm gonna show you guys in a second. Hold on. So let's start. Okay, let's start our stream, and I'll get you guys. I'll get on started with what we want to do today. So, this is the new Ekron docs, right? So I've worked my butt off to get this done. This is pretty nice, developed. I'm using the material theme for MK docs. Now that is a transition. It's awesome. It was done by a Brazilian Discord member called BKS. I love him. Dude is a beast. And the idea here is to modernize the documentation, right? But there are two things here that I want to tell you guys, which is I have documented the electric symbol library. Now, lots of people have asked me how I do the pretty circuits, right? So these circuits here and this kind of thing here. The way that I do it is I have an Inkscape ready. Where is it? So this is a piece of it. This is a library with SVG drawings of electrical components, right? That you guys can use. This is open source. And it's pretty nice if you guys want to draw. If you guys want to draw circuits, you may use it, no problemo. So all of the documentation for that is here. It's pretty nice. It's pretty good. Another thing something that we're going to use today is this little awesome tool here that I'm going to show you guys in a second. Basically, this gives you a quote-unquote ready-to-design KiCad project. I'm going to show you guys in a second why. But most importantly, there are two things that I want to show you guys. First is articles. So, the reset circuitry was not rewritten. I had to overhaul a little bit of the images because they suck. Oh, by the way, I have just done a new dark theme, so your eyes don't burn when you're reading it, which is pretty awesome. But the newest addition to the reset circuit is here, right? Is this. So there are two problems with this reset circuit here. The first one is that the JLC parts library does not have a basic part digital transistor, pre-biased transistor, right? However, it does have basic parts MOSFETs, which is the 2N7002, which is a pretty nice NMOS. And I have added a new version with this MOS here so that you guys can do the reset circuitry with GLC basic parts. Pretty awesome. But there is another thing, which is, you guys might read it, but there is a double PMOS and a double NMOS topology that can do the delayed reset circuitry and substitute the JFET that I'm using for the delayed discharge circuit, which is this beast here. Pretty awesome. All of the simulation designs are there. The options you have are there. Everything is there if you guys want to take a look. Pretty good. And I'm adding a second reset circuit. Now, this second reset circuit is aimed at two things. First is dealing with microcontrollers that have a boot 1 pin, like the FR11 and FR1. They have a boot 1 pin that you have to deal with, and with microcontrollers that have a dual bank flash memory, which Zark has quote unquote improved upon mine, or let's say that we arrived at a better version of the reset circuit that is able to do a software reset for those dual bank flash microcontrollers, and it's gonna be here, right? But what I want to show you guys is this. Now, as you guys might know, we have a microcontroller shortage going on that, according to the latest statements from big people in the semiconductor industry, the shortage might go on until 2023. It's gonna last quite long. So what I've developed here is, I called it a Joker topology, or a Joker microcontroller, meaning that this is a approach that allows you to use up to 16. Actual number might be more than that. I'm confirming more. But this might use something around the lines of 20 different microcontroller versions for STM that are QMK compatible, so that the same design can support a plethora of microcontrollers, right? You don't need to change the design itself. You just need to change the bill of materials. Yeah, for work I'm getting quoted November 2022 if I order in bulk. Yeah, let's say normal 2023. That's our thing. So we need keyboards. We want keyboards, and that's what it is, right? This is something that should help alleviate the reflections that the microcontroller shortage has on our community, right? Now, this here might seem a little bit complicated, right? So you guys take a look at this image, and you guys are like, what the heck, right? Why? Simply, why are there so many components? Well, it turns out that you don't need to implement this by yourself, because trust Gondo. Gondo is here to help, right? So I have implemented this project in a ready-to-use KiCad project, which I've called Joker. Let me show you guys here. So this is what I call the Joker template, right? And the Joker template is pretty much what you would expect. It's a template that has this whole shenanigans ready to use. So you can just copy this over and begin designing from there. Is it possible to add Bluetooth to a PCB to use QMK, or you have to use DMK or whatever it's called? Well, QMK does support Bluetooth. The problem with QMK Bluetooth is that it has a licensing problem, right? As far as I'm aware, Zark is working on that. So, if you guys want to use the Joker template, there it is. You can use it and just copy these files over. Not me, but others in the team are. Awesome. There it is. This is what we're going to use for the PCB that we're going to work on today, right? So I know that this is a lot of information, but the idea is that today would be the first of a series that is aimed at fulfilling a void that we have in the community right now, which is we lack any ARM STM microcontroller guides on keyboard PCB development, right? That's what we're doing today. We are starting this first episode in the development process. And what I'm gonna do is basically design a PCB from scratch using those tools that I have developed, so that you guys, have an easier time doing it. That's the idea. So that whenever you guys want to use, develop your own project, whenever you guys need to, do it yourselves, then you can quote and follow this guide to develop your own PCB. This is how it looks. Okay. Does anyone have questions? Fancy pants. I have no idea what that's about. You can't see my pants. In fact, I'm not wearing any pants at all. I'm wearing shorts. So yeah. External EEPROM for the win. Yeah, the whole EEPROM simulation algorithms, they suck. I'm sorry. But if you don't want to use it, just don't. Just omit it in the BOM. It's an expression. Okay, then please teach me an expression for what? No pants. Yes, sir. No pants. Shorts. Because it's hot as heck in here. So let's go. Well, first of all, the idea is lots of people come to me and said, "Hey, listen, I want to develop a PCB, right? But I have no knowledge in it. I have never done it. This is new to me. How do I do it? How do I start? Are there any guides?" And immediately I direct people over to AIO3's guide, right? So AIO3, let's see if I find it. AIO3 PCB guide. Let's see. There we go. So AIO3 guide's awesome. It is awesome. The problem being, it's aimed at, first of all, a past version of KiCad. So he's using 514, whereas I'm using the Nightlies. And AIO3's guide is aimed at mega processors, which I loathe. AVR spit, yes sir. I am so very sorry for AI. AI is awesome. He's an awesome designer, but at mega sucks balls. So I'm doing an STM32 guide, but more important than that, I'm doing a video guide. Because people don't have time to read these days. So yeah. If something or someone is a fancy pants, they're impressive, high class, sometimes pretentious, but that's not how I meant it. Hey, I'm high class. I'm happy with that. Will you upload it to YouTube? Yes, sir. This is going straight to YouTube. Everyone, say hi to YouTube. Hi, YouTube. From now on, 10 years after this video is being recorded, say hi to YouTube. Hello YouTube, this is September 23, 2021. Stuff looks grim. Okay, so the earth is burning up. We don't have microcontrollers, we don't have GPUs, we don't have processors. But we have this awesome, amazing keyboard community that fills our hearts with pleasure every day that we access it. Dear 10-year me, go F yourself. Don't be like that. Come on. Hi, YouTube. I'm just here to be evil. Okay, awesome. Who the heck are you again? Because we can't see your nick. We literally can't see your nick because it's black on a black screen, on a black back screen. Who is this person? So this person is Dark Heaven Light. That's edgy as F. Dark Heaven Light. So edgy. I'm 14 and this is deep. Why the problem with AdMega? Well, okay, so why choose STM32 microcontrollers? Zark, subscribe. Thank you so much, Papa Zark. I love you. Zark, everyone give Zark a hug. It's Shakespeare. Dark Heaven Light. Are you sure about that? Are you sure about that? I don't think so. I exist, therefore think gave a gift. So thank you so much, dude. Earth treading stars that make Dark Heaven Light. They're talking about the Cougars. I see. Okay. It's DHL, Dark Heaven Light. Awesome. Yeah, okay. So, why pick ARM versus AdMega? Well, first of all, AdMega is more expensive. So whereas, okay, in normal times, not in shortage pandemics, AdMega costs something around $3.5 a piece, whereas the STMs cost $2 to $3 a piece. The thing is, STMs, they are faster, better peripherals, better lithography. They are much better platform to work on. They're a much more mature platform. They have better capabilities. So the latest AdMegas, they have USB PD, power delivery integrated. They work with high-speed USB. They have lots and lots of features. So for instance, you guys can see that AIO3 mentions the Teensy microcontroller as a template for design. And it needs 22 ohm resistors for terminations. It needs a 16 megahertz crystal, and so on. Well, STM generally doesn't need any of that. STM32F072 doesn't need a crystal and does not need resistors. Another nice thing about STM is that the STM platform is made for cross compatibility. So, for instance, the Joker template, you can use it with F072, not F103, but F072, F303, F411, F401, L05, L072, L051, I think QMK also accepts. L433, I think QMK accepts. You can use with all of those. I can get an L412, yes, that too. So, that cross-compatibility thing that STM strives for allows you to do stuff like this, allows you to do a multi-compatible, multi-microcontroller compatible design like this. It has more features. So most STM microcontrollers have a real-time clock. They have pretty much all of them have SPI, PWM, IT squared. So honestly, they are straight out better. They are better microcontrollers. They have more pins. AdMegas have 44, whereas the least version of, whereas a common version of STM32s have 48 pins. They're pretty awesome, right? Yeah, it's okay. So it's pretty nice. I love it. It's a better platform to work on. It's a better platform to work with, and so on. That's why. I get that, but in terms of keyboard PCB design, why would you choose ARM over AdMega? The advantage would be pretty minimal, excluding I/O pins. Yeah, kind of. Design-wise, it's pretty much the same. The only thing that you get as an advantage in STM32 is that it's a better microcontroller. That's pretty much it. The thing is, keyboards are not the pinnacle of human technology. It's not like you need a super ultra duper powerful microcontroller to make a keyboard. That's not that. It's simply that it is a better microcontroller. It's a better platform. It's faster. It's better and cheaper in normal conditions. It's cheaper. I understand ARM is better overall, but for keyboards there is not much need. Pretty much. That said, there are people like me who do put super duper microcontroller in keyboards. Yeah, but you don't need them. I'm sorry, but we are nerds. That's what we are. At the end of the day, we are just ultra duper, super duper nerds. It is what it is. But yeah, I would highly favor ARM microcontrollers, okay? Because those are the future. QMK and other firmwares, ZMK, other firmwares around are using ARM. Let's leave it hanging. RO bootloader? What's an RO bootloader? Do you think it's possible to add Bluetooth functionality without removing key switches from the PCB? I saw that the Zeus TKL had to remove some of the nav cluster. It depends on how Bluetooth is implemented. It really depends. In QMK, Bluetooth is implemented through the serial comms, TX and RX, through the Adafruit featherboard, right? So it really depends on how it's implemented. There are SPI, there are RTC Bluetooth modules out there. By the way, what you're hearing is the last album from Pentakill, which is the League of Legends band, metal band. Awesome. Awesome album. I highly recommend you guys check that out. But yeah, bootloaders on VR suck balls. Bootloaders on ARM are awesome. Especially because we have this. We have dedicated reset circuits for ARM, which we developed. Yes, high five, Zark. We developed that. There we go. If you guys want to read on the reset circuit, have a blast. Any questions? Never having to ISP seems like a good reason to me. Dude, the STM bootloaders, stock bootloaders, are awesome. They are awesome. Especially because there are some AdMega versions. Was it the MU version? I can't exactly believe which AdMega version it was that you have to flash fuses. Like, what the heck? That's so 1990s. Down. Nah. I want this community to use ARM. Let's use ARM microcontrollers. STM32 is the future of keyboards. Plus, Drashna needs roughly 3,000 RGBs. Yes, well, that is one thing. Now, for Cheese Lover, there are certain aspects of AdMega that make it unusable. So, for instance, if you have too many RGBs, the AdMega microcontrollers are not powerful enough to make all the calculations and send out the RGB signals so that the AdMega microprocessors, they actually freeze or stall, I don't know exactly what word it is, when you're using that many RGBs. They are that slow. We've got some RISC-V support coming too. That's way too much. This VOD is going to be incredibly long. Shorter than you would think. Can someone get me a Discord invitation for the Keyboard Atelier? AI3 Keyboard Atelier's Discord server so I can put the stream there? So, how do we start? So, first of all, generally, let's go. We have an invitation. To clarify the point, STM32 can actually offload all WS2012 transmission to a DMA peripheral, so there's no CPU time spent transmitting. Yeah, actually, yes, that would be the technical explanation for that. Set and forget, pretty much, whereas at Mega spends time transmitting it, so it freezes, stalls, or whatever. Let him keys just subscribe. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, dude. Voodoo Bear subscribed. That GIF always gets me. Yeah, I'm taking a look at the keyboard atelier, and apparently people are talking shit about me. Let's go. I hate those big square symbols from Gondo's library. They are just bad. They are objectively bad. You can't distinguish the functions of the pins. People bitch about things they don't understand. Yeah, I guess. Well, I don't like what people are saying. This makes me feel bad. And I'm going to completely ignore it. So, PCB design. First of all, what you generally would start with is a PCB outline, like this, right? So the case designer would give you like a case inside cavity design, I guess would be the name, whereas they'd give you a PCB outline that they want you to work with, right? And they should give you the anchor or the position of one of the PCBs, of one of the switches, right? I always prefer this cape switch. The thing is, this outline here doesn't have one thing that we want, which is a USB connector, right? The thing about the USB connector is it's good to have it there. It's good to have the PCB support a USB connector in a way that maybe you can remove it, right? So in this PCB, what we're gonna do is we're gonna we're gonna design it with a removable USB-C feature. That's what we're gonna do. But you generally start with a PCB outline like this, which is pretty much everything that you need. You also need the plate, especially when you're dealing with a more exotic layout like the Alice, right? You would want a plate file so that you can check if your PCB has all the switches in place. Here, specifically, we don't need it, because since this is a tin-keyless PCB, the switches are pretty much in standard position. We don't need anything to check it on, but it's always good to have that. Yeah. Awesome. So you have the outlines. Now you need the project. Let me close everything. Nice. So, this tool here allows you to generate a KiCad project. Now, it is a GNU Makefile, right? And what that means is it uses bash script. I don't know if it works on Windows. Zark might help me a little bit with that. I don't know if it develops on Linux on Windows. I develop on Linux, hence this is a bash script. This should work in DOS. This should work in Windows too, but I'm not sure. And the idea is that Linux for me too. Damn. In any case, it generates a ready-to-use project. Nice haircut, thank you very much. It generates a ready-to-use project, right? Now, there are a couple things that you guys should... By the way, Arkeebs, how are you doing, my friend? Long time no see. There are a couple things that you guys should know about the project. The first one is, well, it has a lot of documentation, right? Yes, it has lots of stuff. You guys should totally read this. You guys should completely read this, okay? I know it's a lot of thing. I know you're probably not going to. No one reads documentation, but I write it anyway. There it is, okay? He looks so handsome now. That's Voodoo Bear telling me that I didn't before. Okay, that's basically thank you so much. I don't mean to be rude. Just making some conversation. Do you got any of that contrast? The thing is, on stream, it doesn't look like it, but I feel like it's readable. Please read 10K words in the smallest text. Indeed. However, you can read it here in a very, very readable text and with dark theme. So pick your choice. Swap it to user drawings. Why? Why? Why should I? You can't tell me what to do. White on black. Well, hold on. There you go. Better? You can do that, or you can read it on the documentation. I think that it's a little bit better, right? You can, zoom in and out. The only reason I add it here is because, to make it sure that everyone that's using it, effectively read it before using the goddamn template, right? That's why the documentation is right on your face, but you should read it here. It's just much better, but more readable, I guess, would be a good word for it. You gotta send your theme to everyone as well. I can't remember which theme this was. Hold on. Do you link the web page within the file? I am pretty sure that it should be the other way around. The file has... This is the official documentation, right? This is the documentation itself. I think that it should be better readable here. But I think maybe you're right. Maybe the official page should be here. Well, it is here, so yeah. Have you ever considered doing one of those paid tutorial of creating a PCB from scratch? That's what I'm doing right now. Like today is the first part in the PCB from scratch. Don't let us derail your train of thought. No problemo. That's why I do this stream, so that you guys remember me of stuff. But by all means, do it. So, read the documentation. The documentation is, I think, well written, but I'm biased. I wrote it. In any case, here it is. But it should also be here so you guys can read it and yada 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 and that kind of thing. Let's see. Awesome. Now, how should you start? Well, the first thing that you should do is basically this. Forgotten. So, do you want to create a keyboard project, right? So, what you should do is use the command make create, right? So this is a make file. Everything that, the make file itself is here if you want to read it and see what it does and yada yada yada. But the idea here is that it creates a full Git repo. It's not only the files themselves, but it creates a Git repository with submodules. The libraries themselves are added as submodules. If you don't know what Git is, if you're not acquainted with Git, don't mind that. Don't mind that wording. If you wish to do a more professional or a more design, streamline-oriented project, I highly recommend that you learn Git. So that you get versioning capabilities. Git good, pretty much, exactly. And having the libraries as submodules means that basically the big advantage of having them as submodules is that you can have them as you can upgrade them whenever you want. That's basically the idea. The idea is that the main files that are the source files for the project, they depend on the libraries. But what happens if the libraries are, let's say, updated, or if the libraries are changed in any way, or if there's a problem with them? You can treat the libraries themselves as Git repositories inside your biggest Git repo so that you can version control them independently from your main project. This gives you more malleability in how you develop your project because you get those capabilities of updating or downgrading the commits of your libraries so that, say, if the newer versions of the library break your main files, or if there's a change that you don't like or something like that, you can treat them independently. That's the big advantage of submodules. Now, the idea here is that you can do it, but there are options that you can use. The first option is changing the switch type, right? So by default, it's gonna add a switch type that in the Alexandria, the Akron library, it's called MX. How can I say this? Common MX switches, right? They have double pads, so the pads are exposed back and front. Pretty normal MX solderable MX switches, right? But what if you want hot swaps? What if you want MX and ALPs or something like that? Well, Acron does have those, right? You have MXA, which is MX with ALPs. You have shock switches. You have MX and SMK. You have only ALPs. So how do you do in the Acron setup tool? How do you do it so that it doesn't add the MX? It adds, say, MX solder mask, which is the one that I like to use. You use the switch type option, right? So first of all, I'm going to create a file, so a project. So make create. First of all, I'm going to change my project name. So prj name equals, I'm going to call it Anubis. Switch type equals MX solder mask. Let's say, awesome, graphics, right? So the Acron project has a graphics library. That graphics library contains the Acron project's logo footprints. There are the grounding symbol. There is the electric shock symbol, stuff like that, right? If you don't want those graphics, you don't need to do anything, because no graphics is pretty much true. It defaults to true. If you want to add graphics, you need no graphics equals false. There is a logos repository too. Let me show you guys those two. Acron logos. So this is the Acron project. It has the Acron logos pretty much. The huge Acron, the Spartan helmet logos that I use on the Acron project. PCBs, right? There is the Acron graphics. So, the US flag, Brazilian flag, grounding sign, warning sign, the shock sign, that's where those are. If you want those, if you want the graphics library, you need to add no graphics equals false. If you want the logos, no logos equals false. And they both default to true. So if you don't want them, you don't need to set anything. Why no Aussie flag? No Aussie flag for you, I'm sorry. Project name, which is what we did. Clean create. Clean create is pretty good. Clean create gets you just the project files themselves, because the tool itself has these files here, right? These files, they will stay here if you don't use clean create. That's pretty much it. .3D libraries. Now, the 3D libraries are important because if you want 3D PCB renders, right? So, 3D libs, oops, equals true. If I remember correctly, this defaults to... I don't remember what this defaults to. Yeah, I think this defaults to false. I'm going to have to check. In the template, right? So you have, as of right now, we have two templates. We have the blank template. Now, the blank template has nothing on the PCB. It's a blank PCB, right? And the Joker template, which is the one that I've just shown you, which is the multi-STM32 template, right? In my case, that's what I'm gonna use. Equals Joker. Now, I think it's case sensitive. I am not sure. Do you happen to know, Tark, if bash script is case sensitive? I have no idea. In any case, yes. I think, yes, I fucked up. I fucked up. I did. God damn it. What? What the heck? I forgot it. Oh, I still got it. Yeah. So, it is case sensitive. Yeah. So remember, guys, you need. It is case sensitive. So you can't do. You need to watch capitalization, right? Now, there's just two problems here, right? For you Linux peeps. There are two things that you need. First is SSH, right? I should do a version that uses HTTP, but as of now, it uses SSH and of course Git. Those are pretty much the both dependencies that you have for this tool, right? Let me see. Make file. Yeah, 3D libraries default to true. So if you don't want them, you need to set them as false, right? A nice haircut, you look spiffy. Thank you so much. What does spiffy means? Spiffy dictionary. Let's see. Stylish, attractive, or pleasing. Okay, thank you so very much. I like it. I spiffy haircut. Okay, awesome. So, shorthand. 3D libs defaults to true. Yes, sir. That's it. If you don't want to download the 3D libraries, you need to set 3D libs as false. There's just one problem. You need the 3D libraries for 3D rendering. If you don't include the 3D libraries, the 3D models will be missing. Okay? I mean, instead of the if and def stuff. Yeah, I'm not the biggest I'm not the biggest knowledgeable guy in Bash script. Please submit a PR. I have no idea what you mean. I'll take a look later. In any case, here we are. So, what you need to copy, once you have generated the files, your files will be pretty much here. Here you have them. Right? Everything is here. The nice thing about this is that everything is already set for you. So, footprint libraries are here. The symbol library. So, oh yeah, the schematic is here. The symbol library is here too. So it's just copy the files and start designing. That's pretty much it. Yes, beefy mean handsome. Thank you so very much. I didn't know that word. Dark Heaven Light is following. Thank you so much, my dude. Welcome to our stream. Dark Heaven Light, redeem newspaper slap. Where's the book? Where is the book? Anyways, there's Lepis. Now you can just start designing. That's pretty much the idea here. And if you guys take a nice look, it has the switch footprint that we set, right? If you use MXH, you're gonna have an MX hot swap with the Kale sockets. If you use MXA, you're gonna have the MX Alps and so on. Now, there is one thing that you can do beyond this, which is clean create, right? So you can see that this still keeps the old files from the repo, right? So what I'm going to do is this. Here, I'm going to delete the generated files. I'm going to use this here. I'm going to copy them over. Hold on. Template. Nice. Yes. Okay, so now what you can do is the make create here still? No, it's not. Okay, here it is. 3D libs equal true, template equals Joker. Nope. You can also use this here. Clean create equals true. Visions. Oh, blank template and Joker template. Awesome. I found a problem. So it deleted the make file, but not these two because they are not there. Awesome. So pretty much what you're going to have is this here, which are pretty much the 3 folders that you need for your project. So clean create basically gives you a ready to use project, right? Let me get my HHKB rolling here. Let's see. KiCad setup clean. So trash command, make file, blank template. Joker template. I think this is it. So I have blank template, Joker template, make file. Should it delete the README too? Maybe not. I don't think so. Okay. Let's try this again. Let's try this again. Clean create equals true. There we go. So yeah, clean create is done. Let's commit this. Nice. There we go. Done. Anubis. Okay, so this is basically what you're left with, right? So remember, you have the outlines, you have the outlines, you have, and now you have the folder, right? First thing that you should do, first thing ever, is edit the README. So, let's say Anubis 10 kilos PCB, and then you add a description, right? Something simple. Anubis is a solderable 10 kilos TKL PCB with solderable MX switch support. And oh, okay, and a wide variety of layout compatibilities, right? So we're gonna add F12, F13. We're gonna add 6U, 625 and 7U. Bottom row, we're gonna add ISO. We're gonna add you know, all the compatibilities that we have the right compatible layouts, right? This is a README. Always have a README. Very important to always have a comprehensive README, by the way. Nice. So that's what we want. Now we can finally start on the project. Now, the first thing that you need to make sure that you understand is this here, right? The tolerances. So if you go here, board setup constraints. So I have set up the templates, both templates, to have tolerances and sizes that are compatible with a multitude of PCB manufacturers, right? So all of these sizes here, they are pretty much the bare minimums that you need to have so that your PCB is manufacturable. The problem is that I see lots of people using very thin traces and using thermal spokes without knowing what they mean and stuff like that. This has everything quote unquote pre-programmed so that you don't need to worry about that. Okay? It also has an example copper pour. You can change this at will. But if you've read everything, if you know what you're doing, you can pretty much delete all this stuff. And you're just left with this. Now, this is what I'm going to do. First of all, I'm going to import our graphics. Now, I have no idea why. No idea why. When I export the XFs from Inkscape, they come within these splines. Like, what? No idea why. I should look better into it. Let's say plain SVG, maybe that does the trick. Graphics. Yeah, same thing. Even worse. Yeah. Nope. Let's see. Yeah, this is bad. So, there is a way, I don't know exactly what firmware does that, so that you export the XFs and they come in perfect circles. Was it this? Kind of, not exactly what I wanted. Still kind of weird. But yeah, you have an outline. Import graphics. What I particularly like to do is so here you have the center of this cape key, right? You should have, there you go, our outline is here. First thing that you're gonna do is add a switch, right? Awesome. So, first things first. When you add a switch, you need to I like to do it so that it shows in the switch what key code that is. Why? Because when you look at the schematic and you look at the switch matrix, you don't know exactly what symbols are what switch. You just see a matrix, and that can become quite confusing. So what I like to do is that, so this is the escape switch. So now you know that this symbol is the escape switch, right? Value, I'm gonna add an MX switch here. Okay, and this is gonna be an 100 unit. Max 100, done. When you update, there you go. So there it is. Perfect. Now you're gonna ask me, but Gondo, does that mean that I have to place all of the switches by hand? And yeah, that's what that means. You have to place all the switches by hand, but there's a trick! There's a trick to it that I'm gonna teach you guys in a second. First of all, Gondo, I like to design my keyboards flipped. I like to design them from the back part. Why? Because that's where the components are. So this is the escape key. You guys do them however you like, right? But know that if you are using the Acron libraries, you have to flip the switches, right? Don't forget that. You should also add a diode. I flip board view after placement. Yeah, the thing is, the libraries, they are flipped already. They are flipped from the beginning. So people should be wary of that. If they are using the libraries and they are designing from the front part, yeah. Now, what I like to do here is first do this here, exclude from bill of materials. Why? Pretty much because it excludes this symbol from the bill of materials, so that you don't need to keep removing it out from the bill of materials later. KiCad already does that for you, right? Here, I like to add metadata right now. So value, this is a 1N4148 W, surface mounted, pretty useful diodes for every day. Footprint, SOD123, you're gonna find that in Acron components, SOD123. Package, SOD123. Now, manufacturer part number, vendor part number, these kinds of things, I don't like to fill them up. Why? Because specifically for this component, oops, 48W, there are tons and tons and tons of different manufacturers, right? Generally, fabs, they even have like in-house stocks of these diodes. So even if you point them towards a manufacturer, they will just use whatever they have in-house. It doesn't make sense to have maybe it doesn't make sense to add the manufacturer there. Description. Description is something important, right? Because it allows the manufacturer to know what you're dealing with and what the function of that component is on the PCB. Small signal switching diode. Now, 4148s, they are pretty standard everywhere. You don't need to add description. I like to have it there. Judge me, right? Description. MX style compatible mechanical keyboard switch. Nice. By the way, the shortcut that I'm using to duplicate everything is Control D. Okay, so escape. This is F1, F2, F3, F4, F5, F6, F7, F8, F9, F10, oops, F11, F12. After F12 comes 3 switches. Insert, print screen, and pause. Was that it? So insert PRTSC and play pause. I guess that was it. Print screen, scroll lock, and pause. Awesome. Oh, I forgot to copy the little lines, right? Yeah, that is what it is. Now, you can see that it's a little bit problematic to line the switches, because you need to keep on here. So this is F1 and this is F2. Weird, right? The thing is, KiCad names the components in a horizontal sequence, right? I think there might be a grid change. Exactly. So what you do, first of all, is you place your grid on the escape key. Remember that the escape key should be pointed to you by the case designer, or you should previously have an indication of where the escape key should be on the PCB outlines. And you use a grid, right? What I like to do is this. So you go to View, Grid Properties. So this here looks like a funny number, but it's not. It's actually 19.05 divided by 32, I guess that's what that was. No, 16. Now you change to this grid, and now it has exactly a unit grid. See? Exactly a unit grid. After that, what you can do is, so first you need to select this one, right? So F1. Then F2. Then F3. Oops. Then F4. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Maybe that's not your cup of tea. Maybe you don't like getting forward and back to the schematic. What you can do is search and move, I guess, is the feature, which I believe is Shift T. Awesome. So if you click Shift T, so this is switch 5, right? So SW6. It pretty much picks and moves that component that you're searching for, right? So you don't need to do that anymore. Switch 7, switch 8, switch 9, switch 10. Is this it? Or is this it? I can't remember. Yeah, this is it. So this is 1 unit, half. Yeah, awesome. And this is like this. You just do this. SW11, 12, SW13, and then you have the other 2, right? SW16. There you go. There is your PCB. Now, you guys might have pretty much seen, or, you know, branded that this is a 87 layout. But what if I want to add an F13 layout too? Well, you just might. What you can do is what I'm gonna do now. So for F13, what you have to do is F13 10 kilos. So if you take a look at an F13 10 kilos, this is what it has. It has different spacings, right? A quarter, and an end switch. So let's do this here. Let's just do a thought experiment. So what you're gonna do is this top row here is the F12 layout, and this bottom one is the F13 layout. Let's go. So this would be it. This would be it. Oops, I effed up apparently. 18, 19, and 20. Awesome. Then we have 5, 6. Let's copy everything over, shall we? So this is 20, then we have SW21. So it is a quarter switch. I believe this is it. Or something along with that. We'll have to take... I believe this is it. SW22. Hold on, a quarter, we have 1/16, so a quarter is actually 4, right? So it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, this is a quarter. Awesome. Nice. And we have F9. F12. And now we have this. Now it's uneven for some reason. 3. Oh, that's because of this. Awesome. There we go. There you go. See? However, as you can see, we have something nice, because if we overlap both of the layouts, you can see that we have some problems, but we also have some nice things. The first one being, these switches here overlap. Can you see? Here. So they become the same footprint, meaning 22. There you go. 22 and 6, they're actually the same switch. Who's sending me messages? So they're the same switch. They overlap. So that means pretty much you don't need 22 now. So 22 is goodbye. This repeats itself for 23 and 24, where they overlap with another one on the F12 layout. So 23 and 24, they're not needed. They're simply not needed. Now, this is nice to add in, it would be nice to add that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8, right? F6, F7, and F8, awesome. And if I remember correctly, oh yeah, we have the F12, right? So the F12 in the 1287 layout and the F13 in the 88 layout, they also overlap. So, there we go. I think this is it. So F12, that's 87, F13, 88. Awesome. You know, just to have it fit inside the symbol, let's have it like this, right? So this tells us that this switch here, the symbol here, is the F12 key for the 87 layout and the F13 key for the 88 layout. This actually helps us quite a lot when we are developing firmware, okay? Of course, these here also overlap, because they are literally the same. So we don't need them. However, goodbye. There you go. Oh. Apparently, it's not all of that. Hold on. F12, 87, F13 on 88. My dude, you're back. Hey, what's up? How are you doing, my dude? There we go. There we go. Nice. So, what I like to do in my PCBs to make this schematic a little bit clearer is this, right? So this is F1, and, well, they are the same. Let's think about it, okay? Hold on, I think I can't do this right now, but let's see if this is doable. Nice. Nice. Okay, so we have a little bit of some considerations here, okay? Let's get some music rolling, first of all. We need music. 0x88, how are you doing, my friend? I hope you are doing awesome. Let's get some music rolling. We have some considerations to make here, right? First of all, the case designer, he needs these wedges here. These are intended for the mount style of the keyboard, okay? And you can see that we have a quote-unquote problem here in that one of the pads here, I don't think that this repeats, it doesn't. One of the pads here is being cut short by the wedge, by the, how are these called? Slots? I don't have a word for this, but it's being cut. Is this a problem? Yes and no. Well, it is a problem, how can I say this, function-wise, in that, well, we are cutting a pad short. We're cutting it through its half. And that's never good, right? Because you want a full pad so that it's easier to solder. However, it's not that problematic. It's not that, how can I say this? It's not that detrimental to the PCB integrity that this happens. And you can see that it happens quite a lot, but between the pad and the central, the switch pad and the central slot, or the central hole of the switch, where one of the pads overlaps with the central hole and it's being cut down short, right? Then again, is that a problem? Yes and no, right? You're cutting a pad down, but it doesn't hinder functionality. It's still pretty solderable. So you can, how can I say this? You can ignore these. With one caveat. KiCad is gonna complain about this. So if you run DRC, which we are going to do at the end of our stream, at the end of our design, it's gonna point out that, hey dude, there are holes overlapping. This means that you have to have some discipline to check all of the errors and the violations and filter them out and know which are valid and which are not. For instance, this violation here is perfectly fine. What this violation is telling us is, listen, this pad here, which is the side, one of the side pads of the switch, switch 11, is overlapping with the central hole of switch 27. What board is this? This board is gonna be called Anubis, and I have an awesome logo for it. Let me show the logo to you guys. This is Anubis's logo. Look at this. Isn't it awesome? I love this logo. This logo was designed by a tattoo artist, a Brazilian tattoo artist. He had an Instagram account, and he published the Anubis drawing, and I was like, I gotta use this. So I sent him a DM on Instagram and said, hey, listen, would it be cool if I use this? Do you want any commission or anything? And he was cool with it. He was, nah, use it. And I'm like, oh, yes. So yeah, this logo is awesome and I want to use it. There you go, Anubis. So that's what this board is. Anubis is a 10 keyless solderable PCB. That's what that is. So, then again, we have two considerations. The consideration for the PCB edges cutting the pad short. We have the consideration of switch holes overlapping. And we have another consideration, which is this. So, as you guys can see, this pad and this pad here, these two, they're awfully close. So much so that you're gonna have a problem with the solder mask here, so that when the user is soldering this, the user might, how can I say this? The user might bridge those two pads when they are soldering the board. And we have a way to deal with that I'm gonna show you guys in a second. So, this here, they're pretty nice. However, can you guys see that this switch here and this switch here, they are awfully close? Can you guys see this? Now, you guys can see that, well, at a first glance, the F13 keys, they would need new diodes, right? So you would need this here. Yes, that would be a way to deal with the multiple layouts, but that's not the best way. What is the best way? Actually, you can short switches. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna add a quote-unquote phantom column. And I'm going to do this. Nice. So what am I doing? I'm gonna show you guys in a second. So when I do this here, so can you see that the switches are now linked? So now, even though they're two different footprints, as in they support two different layouts, electrically speaking, they are the same switch. And you can ask, well, we have a problem here. In that switch 2 is the F1 key in the 87 F12 layout, whereas switch 18 is the F2 key in the F13 layout, right? To which I say, indeed, but we are custom mechanical keyboard designers, meaning that it doesn't matter what key code this is in hardware. Hardware doesn't care what key code this is, because key code is a software feature. So we can actually do this and set it in software, what layout we want to use. And that's the beauty of QMK, that's the beauty of VIA. We can do multiple layouts and set what we want in firmware. So this is actually possible. This is perfect. And the best part of it is they share the same diode. So now you don't need a whole different diode for these switches. You can use a single diode for both. That's the magic of this. This care with detail and the difference between hardware and software is something that is not simple. It's something that you need a little bit of experience to deal with, but this is pretty common in keyboards when it's when you have multiple compatibility. So we are going to use this trick in pretty much all of the multiple compatibilities. Split right shift, split backspace. This trick is used all across of those so that you don't need 2 rows or 2 columns to implement alternative layouts. And what's the benefit of that? Well, pins, right? An extra row on an extra column means that you need an extra pin on the microcontroller. Also, you save on diodes. You don't need as many diodes. Now, the only problem with this approach is that, as you can see, the schematic gets a bit messy, right? This is a little bit complicated to read. So what I like to do is this, right? So this is switch 2, and since its label is up there, you can pretty much see that this upper square is switch 2 and this bottom square is switch 18. Just to clean it up. And to further clean it, what I like to do is this. There you go. So now the information is conveyed. The top switch is F1 in the 87 layout. The bottom switch is F2 in the 88 layout. Awesome. Now we just keep on doing this that we are doing. Houston, we have a problem. This is out of grid? Yes, it is. Something is still off. Yes, it is. Nice. Let's copy this. Let's copy this. Let's copy this. I can copy this. Oops. Now, if you guys are designing first time, you guys might see that there are a lot of tricks that you can automate with shortcuts. As is the case with many softwares, a part of learning to deal with them is getting the shortcuts by heart, right? And which is something that you guys would get with experience. But what I did basically there was I copied this, this, and this, and I pressed Control D. So it copies the whole thing, and I can just repeat this pattern over and over. There are a lot of problems in keyboard PCB design that you guys can solve by patterns. Repeatable patterns. I'm gonna show you guys that in a second. Go. Left, here we go. Left, here we go. There we go. So, so you might see that this is F2 in the 87 layout. This will be F3 in the 87 layout. This will be F4 in the 87 layout. This is a dual. This is F5 in the F87 and F6 in the 88. So, F6 in the 88. 20. F6 in the 87, F7 in 88, 20, same deal here, F8 in 88, 20, awesome, F8, 87. Awesome. Now for 88, right? So this is F3 for 88. Nice. And now just organizing the whole thing. So any questions, guys? You guys are way too quiet. Are there any questions? Any suggestions? Is there anything you guys want to say? Please say it now. Your hair is looking good. Thank you so very much. Gondo ASMR. What should I do? You know, PCB SMR. What would PCB SMR be? Please explain to me how that would go down. You cut your hair? I did. Yes, I did. And I also fucked up. Nice, okay. Nice. Ich mag, wie es ist. I see. I see. Questions. I'm waiting for questions. No one has any questions? Any big key sets coming up you are excited for? You know, I'm pretty excited for... it's not coming up. It already gone. Stargaze. GMK Stargaze was awesome. But I think that the GB is already over, right? So now is the first time that we... Row 0. We start defining rows and columns. Now, I start from 0 because logically in the C language, which is where QMK is written on, which is what QMK is written on, array starts from the 0 position. If you guys want to start from 1, your prerogative. Zero, 1, 2, 3. This is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There we go. Nice suit. Now we have everything. See, so column, column, row, row. This is pretty nice. Now, there is something that I want to address here, which is this. So remember that I said that these two pads, they are way too close, and the user might joint them, solder joint them. Well, there is a way that we can prevent that, which is joining them on the PCB. What the heck is Gonna talking about? This. So, you guys might see that a switch, it has two pads. The topmost pad I called pad 1, and the bottommost pad I called pad 2. What we basically did is connect pad 1 to pad 1 and pad 2 to pad 2. But there is a trick here. There is a huge trick here to understand that key switches don't have polarity. It does not matter if the row is connected to pad 1 or the column is connected to pad 2 and vice versa. Because at the end of the day, electrically speaking, what switches are electromechanical switches. They are short circuits. When you press a switch, a mechanical switch, these are gathering yellows, what you're doing is basically making a short circuit between the column and the row. That's how the keyboard knows what switch you are pressing. It doesn't mean if the short circuit is 1-2 or 2-1. So what we're gonna do is this. Oops. We're going to flip that apart. We're going to connect 1 to 2 and 2 to 1. And what that makes, let's see if that's what I want. There we go. See? Hold on just a little. There you go. So now, what we basically did is, it doesn't matter now if the user short circuit those switches. They are meant to be short circuited. This is pretty nice because it makes the PCB more stable and robust to user error. Stargaze does look nice. Glad I'm finding out about it post GB so I can skip spending money. Oh, I dropped down like $300 for it. I hardly do that for any key set. Generally in key sets, I'm not a huge alternative layouts guy. The most alternative layout that I like is the Vortex core in Ortho 40. So I'm not into huge different key sets. Oh, by the way, the Vortex core comes with its own keycaps. So I don't need all of the extras. Pretty much every time that I buy key sets, I buy the base kit and the numpad, if the base kit doesn't have it. The novelties are a case apart. Generally, I'll buy the novelties if they're too good. In the case of Stargaze, they were awesome, so I bought them. But in the case of Stargaze, I just bought the whole thing, even Artisans, because it was simply I just couldn't lose it. It was awesome. I loved Stargaze. Nice. Now we just have to distribute the diodes, right? Let me organize this here. Okay. Let's use the same trick that we did for these key for the other ones, because you see that the same situation goes on with pretty much all of these keys with multiple support, right? Where you have these two pads way too close. So yeah. By the way, what I'm doing is, the first thing that I'm doing is rotating the switch and pressing R. And then what I'm doing is mirroring the switch on the x-axis, which is Y. Press Y. Could you make them KL socket hot swappable? Yes. You just have to add KL socket footprints on the creator tool, which is Acron MXH, and that's it. It's gonna create the project with the MXH library, which is for KL, with the KL stuff. See, now we have the whole board. Same deal. Okay, now this here is weird because this will have a diode, right? Hold on. So this diode here, right? And the diode will probably go somewhere around here. The problem with this is that we'll need something like this. Is it problematic? No, it's not. So yeah, don't mind it. It's the same thing. Now we just got to organize the whole thing, and that's it. And there we go. How do you, yeah, okay. You know, thinking about it, let me do it on stream so that you can check how that is. In any case, for this right now, does anyone have any questions? Was it clear enough? Questions, guys. Please, questions. You know, actually, maybe this here is better here. Oh yeah, this is way better here. Because then this one goes here. And then this one goes here. Why are you such a sexy beast? I work out. That's pretty much it. I work out and I eat a meal a day. That's how I get to be sexy. Oh, and I also lie a lot. That helps. Lie with women? I haven't had much women contact lately. But it is what it is. So now I'm gonna do a little, a little something, which is this here. Let's see if this is what I want. It is. Okay, so the problem with this here, this is perfectionism at its best, right? You guys can see that the diode is connected to these middle guys. I want it to be connected to this here, right? So these two are the row pins and these two are the column pins, but I want it to be reversed. You just reverse the switches themselves. So there we go. That's how it is. You are about to show on stream how the KL sockets are fitted. Okay. So this is pretty much it. We're going to get on with it tomorrow, next stream. But this is the beginning of Anubis, and I plan to finish it on the rest. Now, there are two things that I want to show you guys. There was actually one, but now there are two since King Marcus asked the hot swap stuff. So, how you do the hot swap stuff? So, if you want to create a project with the hot swap stuff, you just add, instead of MX solder mask, MX age. Now it's gonna do what it's gotta do. Nice. Then again, KiCad files, it's gonna create the KiCad files with everything. So I'm gonna add a switch, right? It's the same principle, guys. It's the same thing. Mechanical switch. There are just two differences. You can't use mechanical switch in the value anymore. Why? Because now this is an actual part. This is an actual component that goes on the PCB. Remember, this is a socket. The actual part number is CPG something KO sockets. CPG 10, 50, this, right? There we go. So what we do is we add the metadata for that component, right? So value, well, it's the component. So this here. Footprint. When you go to MXH, you see that the footprints are now for the hot swappable. There you go. This is a 100 unit, 100. Data sheet. Well, there is a data sheet somewhere. I can't remember exactly where. Key code. This is escape. Package. It doesn't have a package. Manufacturer. Kale. The actual name of the manufacturer is Kaiwa. Kale is actually just the front store. Manufacturer part number. Vendor part number. Well, this is a problem. As far as I'm aware, no vendors sell this. You have to obtain this directly from Kale or get them from some stores that buy them, like AliExpress is some stores that has them. KB Defense, I think, sells them. But this doesn't actually have a vendor. A link for where you can buy them is always appreciated. Why? Because say that you send, say that you need to send this to a, to a fab, and they need to know, what component is that, where they can buy it or something like that. Well, you have to point them towards a vendor. What I like to do is, I'm here at the mechanical keyboard store, and in this case, I like to get them a link. Description. MX style mechanical switch. This is what they call a solderless. In our jargon, it's a hot swap or hot swappable socket. You can't exclude it from the bill of materials this time. Then again, remember, this is a component. This is an actual component that gets soldered onto the PCB, right? When you go to here, you can remove this. And when you go here, there you go. You have a hot swap switch. If you downloaded the 3D libraries, yeah, I should update this. Oh, KiCad files. Yeah, I forgot it. Nice, there it is. That's how that is. That's how you do it. It's just a different switch type on the footprints. There is one problem with these footprints in that they generally don't accept multi-layout. Doing multi-layout support with hot swaps is tricky. It's not comfortable as it would solderable switches, because the solderable switches, they accept very well overlapping switches. So remember that at the almost beginning of the stream, we had that problem where two switches overlapped so that their holes overlapped, and KiCad got us an error. And it wasn't actually a problem because they are pretty much solderable, but they're not, but they still overlap, and KiCad gives us an error. Well, here we have a problem in that, well, we have sockets that are going to physically overlap. And it's problematic. Let me show you what I mean. So remember that, well, let's say that we want to do a F12 and F13 layout support. We're going to have something like this. Remember that those switches, they were very, very close, right? So we're going to have something like this. See? This is weird. This is very weird. Hold on. Oh yeah, I forgot this. I need to update these models. Nice. See, you're gonna have this weird situation where the sockets are going to overlap. The fab is not gonna like this. This is not manufacturable by any means. There are ways around it. One of them is rotating those guys around. So you can do this here. See, now you have both switches. Now you have both of the compatibilities, and that's possible. I mean, this is pretty manufacturable. I've done this a couple times. Mode 80 is the first PCB that comes to mind. I've done this before, and it works, right? The problem with this now is that you pretty much removed your capability for LEDs, right? So say that you want to add a LED now. We're gonna add LEDs to Anubis later. Let me just do this quick to show you guys. Here. See, so the LED would be like here. So now the LED overlaps with the bottom socket, and now you remove your LED options. So yeah, that's the problem. With multi-layered support, you lose LEDs. There are also other problems. Some people, they don't like south-facing, north-facing. They don't like north-facing switches. That's preference, I guess. But yeah. So yeah, hot swap is possible. It's the same design process, but you get the hot swap feature, but you lose in you lose the LED stuff, and it becomes funky. You have to rotate one of them. It's weird. For fixating the socket, you need like 2 small pads per socket. Yeah, each socket has 2 pads, pretty much. It's doable. It works. But it's weird. It's weird. Nobody tried like just placing some pads there. Well, what you could do... Yeah, what you could do is this. So let's say... Well, in this case, you see that it's not a problem. It's a problem because now the SMD pads of one of the socket overlaps with the drill pads with the hole for the other one. See? So this is not manufacturable. If you can do this here and omit this here. Right? So you can do this. Yes, you can do this, but this defeats the purpose of a hot swap. You have to solder it. Why would you want to solder something that's supposed to be solderless? You see? The benefit of a hot swap is that you just have to pretty much... the benefit of a hot swap keyboard is that the keyboard building becomes essentially a Lego, right? You just have to screw stuff down and that's pretty much it, and fit switches. If you have to solder them, why? Just go with soldered, you know? So you can see that it's a funky solution. It doesn't work as expected or as we wanted it to. It's weird. Very weird. What else? Oh yeah. Well, Gondo, what if I don't want to use Git? What if I don't want to use your crappy Acron setup solution? What if? Well, you can just copy files over. You can do this here. You go to GitHub. What you're going to do is this. You're going to go here, code, download a zip, download. You're going to extract it wherever. I'm going to extract it in downloads. So you go to the keyboard creator, Joker template, and you just copy the files over. There you go. The problem with this is that now you have to manually download the libraries that you want. You have to manually add the libraries and all that stuff, which takes a little bit of time, right? I know what you mean, but that's a one-time thing, right? I don't know. Yeah, if you have to solder the sockets, it's a one-time thing. But then again, if you're going to solder anything, just solder switches, I guess. I don't mean to be rude. I don't want to tell you that it doesn't work. But there is a reason no one does it. And the reason no one does it is it's not as convenient. It undermines the convenience of the hot swap while not adding enough benefits to it. It's not as good as it ought to be. But yeah, if you don't know how to use Git, if you don't want to use Git, this is what you need. There is a problem with this approach, though. The problem with this approach is that, as you can expect, the files, they are meant to work with the Acron project libraries, right? So when you go to the PCB, first of all, you're not going to have the symbol switch. So you don't have the mechanical switch. You don't have the mechanical switch symbol anymore. Another problem is that you don't have the switch footprints. But most importantly, these footprints that you see here the footprint libraries are not there anymore. So if you don't want to use GitHub, if you don't want to use Git versioning, I highly recommend that you just start from a blank project. Then you can add your switches, then you can add your libraries, then you can add wherever you want, and still have the benefit of everything of having everything pre-configured for you. So constraints, net classes, predefined sizes, everything is predefined. So you still have all of the convenience, but you can add your stuff. Quarkwork subscribed. 3 months already. Yes, sir. 3 months. Thank you so much, dude. Welcome. By the way, guys, Quark, very nice designer. He's designing some awesome PCBs out there. I really recommend that you guys get to Katana's Discord server and check out what they're doing there. And Katana's streams are also very awesome. So yeah. Well, guys, this is it for today, for the first part of the Anubis stream. Anyone has questions? Lots have changed, I guess. Questions, guys, questions. Was it this? Get status. Huh. Let's also update this. Are you planning to put this up on YouTube or somewhere a bit more permanent than Twitch? I think it would be a good resource. Yes, I am. This is just the first part. I don't know how many parts there will be. My idea is to just do parts as they come and until we finish the Anubis design. My idea is to design a PCB, then again, a reference guide as to design a PCB with RGB underglow and per switch LEDs, the single color common per switch LEDs, so that we have it up on YouTube and people can get that reference guide to how to use them, right? Today was a special episode, a special part that I've done to show you guys the Joker template, the Joker topology template, or whatever you want to call it, that so that you guys can use it too, and how to set up a KiCad project and that kind of thing. In the next part, what I'm gonna do is pretty much the same thing, but without the Joker template. So what I'm gonna show you guys is how to set up a KiCad project, how to do it from scratch, how to add your libraries, how to begin everything from scratch. However, I thoroughly recommend that you guys use either the blank template or the Joker template. Why? Because it's already set up with tolerances and with constraints that are manufacturable. The Ekron setup is a nice tool because it gets you up and running. You guys are gonna see that in the next part. We're gonna spend 2 hours configuring KiCad. Pretty much. And although it's nice to know how to configure KiCad and to know how it works, for people that are first timers, it can get a bit overwhelming, right? So that's why I've done this first part, because this is pretty much how I start every single one of my projects. I have a template that I copy over, and that template pretty much consists of the microcontroller area, because it's the most standardizable area, right? It's the same one for every single keyboard. There's no reason for you to design it again and again and again and again for every project that you make. At the same time, I do understand that it's important to know how KiCad works, and how to set it up, right? So what I'm gonna do in the next part is do pretty much what I've done today, but from scratch, from zero, from a literally blank project, using AIO3's libraries. But in part 3, I'm not gonna use those files. I'm gonna use the files that we developed today, because I think those are more comprehensive and everything is already detailedly set, right? And after you have set KiCad up and set it to your constraints, to whatever you want and like, the design part is common. The design part is the same for everyone. So that's the roadmap for the series, right? Designing it, commenting on the particularities of how to design a keyboard PCB using STM32. What are the particularities of STM32? Explain my choices, the design choices that I've done, get feedback from you guys, make the tools better, and that kind of thing. That's what. That's the idea here. So, in short, yes, all of this will be on YouTube. I'm designing this to be up on YouTube. But I don't know how many parts there will be. There will be as many parts as needed to finish this. More questions, more questions. More questions, more questions. Questions, questions. No more questions, apparently. Well, this is it then. If you guys have no more questions, this is it. Yep, no more questions. Thank you guys so much for being here. This is awesome. Part 2 probably tomorrow. No idea. I'll take any questions in the Discord server. There we are. If you guys, obligatory, if you guys want to help, there is a donation page up. Exclamation donate, get to that page, if I remember correctly. And that's pretty much it. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for the stream. It was fun and educational. Thank you guys so much for being here. Always awesome to have you guys here. Should we raid someone? Let's raid someone. Lightning is up. Let's raid Lightning. He's awesome. Diego, everyone. Let's raid Diego. I press raid Diego. I'm a moron. Lightning keyboards. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Love you guys. By the way, raid message on Lightning's stream. I come from Brazil. Remember, it's not Brazil because we are bros. It's Brazil. I come from Brazil. Thank you guys so much for being here. See ya then. Roll the outro.